So in this video we will be discuss the first chapter of unit 1, that is the living world. Remember, this is one of the most important chapter in Neet because this is the first chapter of class 11 and also this is the basics of biology. So this chapter is one of the most important. Now the first point about the living world chapter is the scientist Ernst Mayr. The one thing about the Ernst Mayr is he is also known as the Darwin of 20th century. Remember, it is already asked in previous year question, so this is important. These things are not so important. Now, in this section 1.1, the important thing is that all living organisms grow. Increase in mass and increase in number of individuals are the twin characteristics of growth. So remember, the twin characteristics of growth is increase in mass and increase in number of individuals. Important MCQ. Now see, growth. Growth is of two types, from inside growth and from outside growth. From inside growth in case of living organisms and from outside growth in case of non-living organisms. So from outside growth means growth by deposition. For example, this is a stone, right? Now, due to deposition of many substances in the surface of this stone, the size of this stone can increase this much in many years, and it is also one type of growth, that is growth by deposition and growth from outside, and it happens in case of non-living organisms, right? So growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive event. Remember, growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive event. Important MCQ, mutually exclusive event. Now, non-living objects also grow if we take increase in body mass as a criteria for growth. So I describe here. So non-living organisms can also grow. Now, growth therefore cannot be taken as a defining property of living organisms. So first of all, what is defining property of living organisms? Now, defining property means the property is only present in case of living organisms, right? But growth is also happen in living and non-living. So growth cannot be a defining property of living organisms. Important. Now see, in the planaria, that is flatworm, we observed through regeneration. So important, through regeneration is present in case of planaria, that is flatworm. This also included in the chapter animal kingdom. Right? Now, many organisms which do not reproduce are mule, sterile worker bee, and the infertile human couples. So these examples are important. They do not reproduce. Now, reproduction also cannot be an all-inclusive defining characteristics of living organisms. So reproduction also cannot be an all-inclusive defining characteristics of living organisms. So important. Remember the word all-inclusive. That means including all organisms. Now, no non-living object exhibit metabolism. Important. No non-living object exhibit metabolism. That means metabolism is absent in case of non-living organisms. Now, an isolated metabolic reactions outside the body of an organism performed in a test tube is neither living nor non-living. Remember this. Neither living nor non-living. That means, for example, this is a test tube. Here these are the chemical substances, right? Now, the metabolic reaction performed here is neither living nor non-living. Now, isolated metabolic reactions in vitro are not living things but surely living reactions. But this reaction is not a living thing, but it is a living reaction. In vitro means outside the body, and in vivo means inside the body, right? Now, the reaction that performed in a test tube, that is outside the body, is not a living thing, but it is a living reaction. Remember, these are slightly confusing, so see carefully and just try to remember. Now, hence, cellular organization of the body is the defining feature of life form. So, important. Cellular organization, we found growth is not a defining property, then reproduction is also not a defining property, but the cellular organization of the body is the defining features of life form. Life form in living organisms, right? Now, cellular organization means metabolism also. So, metabolism also a defining features of living organisms, that is life form. Important. Now, all organisms therefore are aware of their surroundings. Human being is the only organism who is aware of himself, that is has a self-consciousness. So see, the consciousness is present in all living organisms. So consciousness therefore become a defining property of living organisms because the consciousness is absent in non-living. For example, this is a stone, so it has no conscious, right? But any living organism has present a consciousness, so it is a defining property. But self-consciousness is exclusively present in case of human being. Remember. Now, therefore, we can say that living organisms are self-replicating, evolving, and self-regulating interactive systems capable of responding to external stimuli. So remember the definition, right? This is the definition of living organisms. So this is the complete definition of living organisms. It may ask. Therefore, we can say that living organisms are self-replicating, okay, evolving, and self-regulating interactive systems capable of responding to external stimuli. Remember, all living organisms, present, past, and future, are linked to one another by the sharing the common generic material, but to varying degree. Remember this sentence: common genetic material, but to varying degree. Okay, remember this. That means all living organisms that we are and our ancestors are linked one another by the common genetic material. Genetic material is common, but to varying degree. Okay, remember, all living organisms, present, past, present, and future, are linked to one another by the sharing the common genetic material, but to varying degree. Okay. Now this is the estimated number of species in Earth. So remember, this has already asked in previous question, 1.7 to 1.8 million. Okay. Now here these two short form, ICBN and ICZN. Remember the full form: International Code for Botanical Nomenclature and International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Important. Remember these two things. Now here the nomenclature and the identification. Remember the definition of these two things. Okay. What is the definition of nomenclature and identification? Now Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus gave the binomial nomenclature system. Okay. Binomial nomenclature system was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Important. Now what happened? In case of binomial nomenclature, there are two words, right? First one is the generic name, second one is the specific name, also known as specific epithet. And when it is printed, then it is used italic letter. But when we write the scientific name, then we used to give it to underline, right? So this is important. Now these are the important points where the binomial nomenclature rule are mentioned. So remember these things. Now Mangifera indica, this is the scientific name of mango. Here Mangifera is the generic name and indica is the specific epithet. Remember. Now one thing is that Mangifera indica lin. Here the lin, L-I-N-N lin. This is, it indicates that this species has first described by Linnaeus. Okay. This also asked in previous question. So important. Here the lin is attached. It is due to it indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. Important. Now the order systematics. Now what is the systematics? The order systematics is derived from the Latin word systema, which means systemic arrangement of organisms. Remember, systema means a systematic arrangement of organisms. Now systematics, see, systematics takes into account evolutionary relationship between organisms. Now classification along with evolutionary relationship is known as systematics. So evolutionary relationship between the organisms is included in systematics. Remember, important. Now here the species, here remember the definition of species, right? Now in case of genus, see, genera are aggregate of closely related species. Remember this definition. Genera are aggregation of closely related species. That means in genus closely related species are included. Now potato and brinjal are two different species, but both belong to the genus Solanum. Remember, this is example given in NCERT. So important. Potato and brinjal are two different species. These are two different species, but they are included in the same genera, that is Solanum. Same like lion, leopard, and tiger, with several common features. All are species of genus Panthera. Here lion, leopard, and tiger are different species, but they have the same genus, that is Panthera. Okay, this genus differs from another genus, Felis, which include cats. Now Felis, this is another genus, and this is one another genus, and these two are different genus. This includes cat, and this include lion, leopard, and the tiger. Remember. Now family. Family has the group of related genera with a still less number of similarities as compared to genus and the species. So remember the definition, right? Three different genera, that is Solanum, Petunia, and Deutera, are placed in the family Solanaceae. So remember, Solanum, then Petunia, and the Deutera or Datura. These are the three different genus, but they are included in the same family, that is family Solanaceae. Important. Genus Panthera, then they comprising of lion, tiger, leopard, is put along with genus Felis in the family Felidae. Remember, in the family Felidae, the genus Panthera and genus Felis include in the family Felidae, but these two are different genus but included in the same family, right? So see, Felidae is the family of the cat, and the Canidae is the family of the dog. Remember. Now order. See, Convolvulaceae, then Solanaceae included in the order Polymoniale. Right? Convolvulaceae, then Solanaceae are included in the order Polynomiales. So remember, these examples are given in NCERT, so this is very important. Mainly based on the floral characteristics, right? Now see, in family, the common characteristic is that they are end with the suffix CEAE. Remember, in case of family. Now see, this is the hierarchy, right? Kingdom, phylum or division in case of plant, class, order, family, genus, species. Now, two important thing about this hierarchy is that when you move from kingdom to the species, that is in this order, the similar character increases. That is, from kingdom to the species, the similarity increases. Similarity means having common character among the individual organisms, right? But from kingdom to species, the complexity decreases. The complexity among the individuals decreases from kingdom to the species, but the similarity among the organisms increases. Remember these two things. Okay, important. This is previous year question, right? Now see, this is one of the most important chart, and they see here the one important thing is weight. Remember the biological name of the weight, Triticum aestivum. Okay, genus Triticum, then the family Poaceae, order Poaceae, then the class Monocotyledon, then the phylum Angiosperm. Remember, these things are also important. Man, housefly in biological name Musa domestica, important. Then the Musa, then the Musidae, then Diptera, then the Insecta, important. Remember. Now taxonomical aid 1.4. Now in taxonomical aid, first taxonomical aid is the herbarium. So remember the definition. Herbarium is the storehouse of collected plant specimen that are dried, pressed, and preserved on sheet. Remember the three words: dried, pressed, and preserved on the sheet. Okay. Now there are some information in herbarium. These are herbarium provide information about the date, then the place of collection, then the English, local, and the botanical name, then the family and the collector name. Remember these things. This has already asked in previous year question, so important. Date, place of collection, English, local, and botanical name, family, and the collector name. Now see botanical garden. These examples are important in case of botanical garden. Remember, the botanical garden Q, Royal Botanical Garden, present in Q. Then Indian Botanical Garden in Howrah, India. National Botanical Research Institute in Lucknow. Remember the place where these are present. That is the National Botanical Research Institute present in Lucknow. Then the Indian Botanical Garden present in Howrah. And the in Q, this is the Royal Botanical Garden. Now see museum. Remember the definition, right? Specimens are preserved in the containers or jars in preservative solution. Okay, here the specimens are preserved in the containers or jars in preservative solution. Now museums often have collections of skeleton of animal too. Remember. Now zoological part. The difference between museum and the zoological part is that in museum the specimens present are in the dead form, but in zoological part these are the living organisms, right? Now K was of the most important in this chapter. Now see, remember the definition of K. Okay, K is based on similarities and dissimilarities. K is based on similarities and dissimilarities. Now the K are based on the contrasting characters generally in a pair called a couplet. Now K that is present on a contrasting character are called as couplet. Okay, and each statement in the K is called a lead. Now the contrasting character that are called couplet, here the each statement is called a lead. Remember, K is important. Now this whole paragraph is important. This is in a very concise form, but remember the whole paragraph, right? See, flora, manuals, and the monograph and the catalog are some other means of recording descriptions. Now flora, then the manual, monograph, and the catalog. Remember the definition of each of these. Flora contains the actual account of habitat and the distribution of plant of a given area. This provided the index of the plant species found in a particular area. Manual are useful in providing information for identification of names of species found in the area. A monograph contained information on any one taxon. Monograph contains information on any one taxon. So remember the whole paragraph and try to understand. So basically these are the important points in the chapter living world, and these are the common MCQ that are generally asked in previous year question, and one of the MCQ will be asked in this year also. So remember this point, these are the more than enough. So if you like the video, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.